Hello everyone, Tarantula Times here. Today I'm going to make two sling enclosures. One is for my green bottle blue, that is the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, and the other one is for my Mexican pink, the Brachypelma classy. What I'm using are two clear display case. I learned this from other people on YouTube who are in the tarantula hobby, so thank you everyone for letting me know about this. The first one for the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens is going to be the mini helmet display case, and I paid $9.99 for this. The other is the it's a little bit smaller, and this is for the B Classy, and I paid $7.99. I'm going to use a soldering iron to make holes, and I have a coffee because, you know, that's very important. Also, I have my decorations that I'm going to use here. So what I'll be doing with these cases, for those who don't know, is I'll be turning them upside down. That's kind of a mess. As long as I don't burn the house down, I think we'll be all right. Some of the enclosures that you buy commercially, and they're rather expensive, the holes are maybe toward the center of the enclosure, and so you really can't put quite as much substrate in them as you would like. I always worry about little things. And one of the things I was worried about while I was doing this is these little strings of acrylic that melted, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to be stuck there. No, they just break right off. You just use your finger. So what I ended up doing was making the holes, and then with a soldering iron, and then I used my Dremel to smooth them out a bit. So it's not the prettiest enclosure, but it's definitely going to work for a little while. This little one, I'm going to use these fake lavender, and I'm going to have to cut them down. The other thing that I'm going to use is this steer skull, and I had to remove a part from the back. I needed a small screwdriver because it's really just a hook to hang in a so-called man cave, but I thought it was nice, and it'll add a nice touch to the enclosure, and it's coated in, you know, some kind of acrylic or maybe plastic paint, so it actually doesn't have any sharp edges like some of the decor that you find in pet stores. So the next thing that I'm going to do is put some substrate in here. What I'm using is cocoa fiber. It's very dry, and you know, the green bottle blue, they seem to really like it dry, so come from the deserts in Venezuela. Now the green bottle blue, I haven't actually seen it doing any kind of digging, but you know, if it wants to. Now I think that this piece of cholla cactus, I got this off of Etsy, and from someone who lives down in Arizona, and I think it'll make a good decoration for the green bottle blue cage. Now these are my good sewing scissors, and you know what, my mother would have killed me if I had done this when I was a kid, but I am going to. No, I'm not. I'm going to use these wire cutters. And then there is a bit of a sharp edge there, so I'm going to push this up a little, and I'm going to take these needle nose pliers. I went through so many decorations when I was at the craft store looking for things that would fit in here, I was able to take this out of the box and I'll hold some of the plants up to it so I could see if they'd even fit. A surprising number of them were too tall, because I don't exactly want this to reach all the way to the top. Fortunately, I'm better with an axe than I am with a drill or any of these tools I'm using. Okay, right now for my little green bottle blue, I'm going to use this as a water dish. And let's see, I'm going to just put it over here in this corner. So I'm going to rehouse my little Cromatopelma cyanopubescens into its new enclosure, and I'm sure that's out of focus. Just learning how to use my SLR camera as a video camera. Never really. Let's see if this little one will just go onto the flowers. Okay, didn't exactly want to go, but so now it's in its new enclosure. So I removed the web from the old enclosure. It was actually on this plant here, and I put it in the new one. This in here, and I did try this out at the store. I was a bad person who takes things out of the box and plays around with them in the aisle. And I'm glad I did. So I've got my Brachypelma classy. Then in this Tupperware, not the prettiest. There's a little piece of cork bark. All right, there you go. There's your new place. You're gonna like it. Can move a little bit so I can get your water dish in there. Now I see this little one is still feeding on a cricket. So the way that I do my water, I'm sure everybody has their own. I use filtered water, and I leave it in this cup next to my enclosures, and since I have mostly slings, it's very easy to just refill it. Any of the chemicals seep out of it overnight, and I'm good to go. My holes are pretty messy, but they're gonna work for now. And I think the reason for that is that my soldering iron has an end on it, a bit or whatever you'd call it, that's too large. And I needed one that was more pinpoint, but for now that's what I had. And so I used what I have. One other non-tarantula true spider that I have is a Phidippus audex. This is a jumping spider species, and so that means altogether I have 6 invertebrates. So here is my menagerie of tarantulas. This is a habisphere. It's by Exoterra. And I have a Grammostola pulchra, the Brazilian black, and it is a juvenile. I just turned the light on so that we could take a look and see it more clearly, because this room tends to be pretty dark. And I think the little one is hiding. I can just see a bum down there. I don't know if you can see that bum, but that's the bum. And then up here, I have a Jamie's enclosure. I just put that foliage ball in there today that came from a craft store. And in this Jamie's enclosure, this is a large Jamie's enclosure, I have a Phonopelma calcades, the Arizona or Desert Blonde. She's back there eating. It's my only confirmed female. Let me back up a little bit so that I can show you what this looks like. She was originally in the Habisphere, but that didn't work out for her because she was actually wild caught, and I'm definitely not an advocate for wild caught. I can see that it causes her a lot more distress. And then up here, this is the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, the green bottle blue. That's the enclosure that I just made. And the other enclosure that I just made for my Brachypelma classy. And then in here I have my only arboreal tarantula, which is the Carabina versicolor. And this little one molted last night. So I'm very happy about that because, yeah, it scared me a little, all of what I've heard about them being difficult to keep. So, and last but not least, I have a little critter keeper over here with my Grammostola pulchripes, and this one I call Little Thing, and it's still a little thing. And this one was my first tarantula. Oh, there he is. I can see him crawling around back there. I actually got him in December 2017. So you can see I haven't been keeping tarantulas for very long. He has molted twice. And yep. I keep my temperature in here about 77, 78 degrees. That's a big change for me. In the beginning, I thought that I would need to get some kind of heat lamps. I really was misinformed about all of that. Now I just believe in the ambient temperature. Rising the temperature in the house and having that do the trick. So I hope that this has been helpful. I don't think my enclosure is going to win any prizes. As you can see, the holes are quite a bit messier than the machined holes on the Jamie's enclosure, but they're going to do the trick for now. Thank you for watching.